This is another episode of SportsTrap. Derrick,
Trap.
how you doing
I'm
today,
doing all
man?
right, brother. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Just busy. Had a couple interviews with some MMA fighters.
I seen that. How did that go?
Oh, both of them were great. Both of them are gonna be stars in MMA.
So you
And
gonna get in the octagon too?
no, for me, I mean, I might do some
You
training.
should.
I might do some training, man. I'm not gonna
Might as well
lie.
get in the octagon, show your skills.
I mean, I wouldn't get in the octagon per se. I'm gonna train. I'm not gonna fight like
Why
spar.
not? You
Nah,
train. You
man.
trying to fight.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's rare for somebody to just start training and fighting when you're, you know what I mean? I feel like it's more of a younger, like when you're a kid, you know what I mean? When you're a young man going against people who have been training for a minute, you know what I mean? It's like you're going to get your butt kicked. So I gotta train a couple years till I feel comfortable before I get in the octagon. For real.
I mean, train. If you train, you get in the octagon, get in the octagon, brother.
I feel, would you?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
No. A friend of mine, out the blue, started training and got in the octagon, and
For real?
they had like 3 fights already.
Word.
Yeah, with
Amateur?
within like the last 6 months.
Oh, wow. Congrats to him. What's
Yeah.
his name?
Brady Payne.
Brady Payne? What's his record?
2-1.
2-1. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
What weight class is he?
I couldn't answer that, but he's a skinny guy.
He's a skinny guy. All right. I mean, skinny could be around 145.
Possibly.
145 skinny. But hey, man, did you get a chance to see? I didn't see it because I was at work. But did you get to see? And I didn't even know that the whole ball thing was like a super event where you had to get suited up and the players went. I didn't know that, honestly.
The draft lottery?
Yeah, I
It's
didn't know
usually
players.
not. I think that's the first time I've ever seen it that way.
Yeah.
It's usually far as like players coming. Like this is the first time I've seen players coming. You know, you do got those celebrity like Patrick Ewing
Right.
that they do send, but usually when it hasn't been a big spectacle. I think it's a big spectacle this year just because of how the rules was changed.
Right. And how?
And they flattened the odds for everybody.
And you think it was also that way because of how big of an attraction Zion was, and they're just trying to make money off of or like get more views that way from Zion because we've never seen anything like this before. I think it might have some connection to do with Zion and his greatness at Duke and exposure. I truly think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you what, man. I was at work when I first saw it, and let me tell you something. I was in complete shock. I was in complete shock when one of my coworkers, he was a high school player, but he was like, "Yo, we getting Zion Williamson. AD is staying, man. He's staying." I'm like, bruh,
AD's not staying.
AD ain't staying. And Zion, let me tell you something. I don't even think the Pelicans are gonna draft Zion. I think they're gonna draft John Morant. That's who I think they should draft. I don't think they should draft Zion. Zion will not be the savior of New Orleans. He won't be. That would be a mistake.
But then if they don't draft Zion, then Zion's going to Memphis.
They wouldn't draft him, bro.
They would. I do think the Pelicans are going to draft Zion just because he's the best player in the draft right now. He's the most hyped player in the
The
draft.
hype. I'm not sure if he's the best.
Also, the best out. Somebody say RJ. Somebody say Darius Garland. Somebody say
Ja.
Ja Morant.
Point guard.
Point guard. He's the point guard. But I don't know. I like. It's proven that it's hard for New Orleans to build a team around a superstar because they didn't do it around AD.
Well, I mean, it's kind of tough because they're in a small market. Usually, it's tough for small markets to attract big name players.
It's not about look what Utah's doing. Utah got
How many championships Utah got?
and about
It ain't about championships.
it ain't about championship.
Great players win championships. Great
Right,
players
so-
leave
so-
small markets
but-
to go to large markets to win championships.
Right. So
To make more
when
dollars.
you in a small market,
Yeah.
you have to be able to compete to get the illusion that you can win championships. Like Utah made it to the playoffs. Like, oh, they made it to the playoffs. We have a shot to win a championship because we made it to the playoffs. Like if New Orleans can adopt that model, like just make it to the playoffs, we can have a shot. Like you can't even make it to the playoffs. How possible is that?
The Utah Jazz have a shot of exiting in the second round every year. Like there's no illusion. No one thinks Utah is gonna win anything outside. They're not even gonna go. They might not even go to a Western Conference Finals for the next 5 years. They might go a couple times. They might go one or two, because Donovan Mitchell might show up because he had a terrible
But he had a
playoff.
playoff was terrible.
His
This year.
playoff was terrible, man. But he's a young cat. You know what I mean? Sometimes LeBron James, he first had to lose before he won. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes that. Even Michael Jordan in his Pistons years. You know what I mean?
But that Pistons was a better team though.
They were, but I mean, I'm saying is it's like Michael had to learn how to lose to win, because what happened was when they were beating him up, he was like, I got to change my body. I had to change because the physicality of the Pistons were so much strong. They were so much bigger and stronger and faster that Michael had to change his body. And that's what helped Michael elevate himself to be the best player in the 90s and arguably the greatest player of all time. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say.
I like AD. He wants you out, so it's and Zion wants in the league.
Knicks, third. I hope the Knicks take him, man.
I'm a Knicks fan. Like I wanted Zion, but I'm not mad if we get Ja or RJ.
Or Rajay.
Yeah, so
you know what? Honestly, how good do you think Zion Williamson can really be in the NBA? Honestly, because I wonder about that. I wonder what you think.
So he could be a superstar.
Okay.
But he has to change his body.
Okay.
He has to lose. He got to lose 20 pounds. He can't be 6'6", 280. He has to be like 6'6", 265, 260.
Okay.
And he is positionless basketball, so he's gonna run around the 3 and the 4. He can play this Draymond role, defensive role.
Interesting. He's not really a defender though. He
Right.
can block shots. He's got amazing
He's
athleticism.
a help defender.
Yeah.
So
Draymond is a better defender.
But Draymond can't block shots.
No, but I'm saying like Draymond's a better defender. He's, you know what I mean?
So Draymond became a better defender once he lost weight.
I feel you.
So Zion, he's better. He's already more athletic than.
That's
Draymond.
true. That's without a doubt.
Draymond probably got better playmaking skills, but that comes with time.
But my question to you though is if the first person we're comparing to Zion is Draymond Green, and most people think that Draymond Green is a system player, does that mean that Zion Williamson is more hyped than what he should be?
Why would Draymond be an assistant player? He put up solid numbers at Michigan State. He just was overweight.
No, what I'm saying is that most NBA analysts, most NBA organizations believe if you were to take Draymond Green outside of the Warriors system, he would not be the same player he is anywhere else. It's because of the Splash Brothers, it's because of KD and the system that Steve Kerr has that makes him valuable. Most teams disrespect Draymond Green's ability. I'm not saying he doesn't have ability, but what I'm saying is people look at him as somewhat of a third or fourth option on the Warriors because the other guys are just so great around him.
I don't think he wanted to score. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I get what you're saying, but I think Draymond does what the team needs him to do.
True.
Rebound, bring tenacity, bring energy, bring defense, and we're gonna score regardless. Right. So I think he brought what the team needs to be. Like if you go on the other team, his scoring may go up a tick.
Like 14 a game, maybe.
14, 15 a game tops.
I mean, that's not all-star level.
But still getting eight rebounds, 8 assists. That's a solid season.
That's solid, but you expect more from a Zion. I mean, the problem with the way that people are pressuring up Zion, I don't think Zion's going to be a superstar. I do think he's going to be a star. I think at the best he'll average 24 to 22 a game. At worst, average 16. And only because if he can't learn how to shoot,
he got a set shot.
He's got it, but you know what? Lonzo Ball shot 45% from 3 in college. So what? And if you look at some of those Ben Simmons highlights from high school, he was shooting threes and he was making them. You know what I mean? But you see, he can barely make anything outside of 5 feet.
He don't shoot them.
Cause he can't, and he don't have the confidence to shoot.
I think what Ben is difference is with Ben Simmons.
It's in his head.
It's in his head, and he doesn't know what hand to shoot with.
He should know by now. He's a professional.
But if you're ambidextrous, you want to always keep you keep the defense guessing like, you right-handed, let's push him left.
I mean, you should develop both of them. But what I'm saying is that he needs to work on his shot. One of the reasons, look, he only attempted 5 shots the last game. I mean, for this whole process thing to work, okay, he's got to show up. He's got to be a guy who can shoot. Now, if he can shoot, he can be a baby LeBron. But right now, he's like baby LeBron's stepchild, okay?
Giannis. I mean, I think getting to the Sixers, Ben and Joel games don't kind of match.
Okay.
So that's why like Ben needs to be playing more like how Giannis plays. Shooters around him, let him dominate the paint.
Okay.
And just pick because he's a great passer, a great rebounder. He can push the tempo. Like if he can get shooters around him, he'll be better.
But he's not like LeBron because he's not as dynamic.
He can be. He can't be dynamic when you push.
You got
the ball,
a big man.
You push the ball up when it ain't there. Let's push it out. Let Joel get up court. Joel do your thing.
So if you were the Sixers, would you trade Ben or would you trade Joel?
I don't know. I might be inclined to keep him to try to make it work.
I would make it work for a year, but this would if Joel Embiid, if he didn't have any injury history, okay, if he was a guy who was committed to working on his body, you know what I mean, because he's a little overweight, he's too overweight. If he was committed to working on his body and he didn't have the injury-prone history that he had, Embiid, I would take hands down over Ben Simmons, even though I believe Ben Simmons is a great player. But because of Joel Embiid's injury history, the fact that he sat out for the first 3 seasons of his career with ankle injuries.
Embiid?
Okay? Yeah.
But he had a back.
You know what I'm saying? He got a back, a foot injury, bro. He got like 2, 3
viruses.
I mean, he was sitting out in the playoffs. He was texting on the phone, which, to be honest with you, I didn't. For me, now this, I wasn't an athlete, so like for me, it's like, what's the big deal of it? But you know, I'm looking at it with the lens of as a millennial who didn't play. For somebody who played the sport, why is it disrespectful to check on your phone when the game's playing?
It's only a few reasons to check your phone during the game.
Okay.
If you're married and your wife's pregnant, if a parent is sick, your kids are sick. Like those are like the 3 like that giveaways. And then plus, as a player, you don't really check your phone. You got your guy, your Gatorade guy that got your phone like, yo, anybody text or call me.
Okay.
So no. All right. So it just shows that you're not focused a little bit.
Interesting.
So it's not like he could have got a guy like, I'm pretty sure, get a Gatorade guy to top of your phone like, yo, if somebody texts or call me, let me know. I'm running up out of here. And then also the team knows situations like that, like, yo, your wife about to have a baby. Let me get you up out of here.
Yeah.
So usually that happens, but when you have your phone on the bench, it shows that a little bit you're not focused.
Interesting. And you know what? Maybe he wasn't as focused, but I tell you what, when Kawhi hit that game-winning shot, when he was crying like a mug, which I don't understand why people were trolling him because, hey, look, that's passion, that's emotion. I do believe that series he'll reevaluate himself.
I think,
and he'll come back hungry.
I think they fried him for crying because he talked so much.
I mean with trolling other players and
like,
stuff.
Yeah, you troll and
Drumming.
then you want to cry. Like you talk all that, now you want to cry. Yo, take it like a man.
Oh man, man, look.
That's how people feel, though.
I feel that, and I can respect that, but it's like, hey, look, would you rather have people who just say, oh, well, I lost and I don't care, or would you rather have somebody who, because at the end of the day, it's a business as well, right? If you're a fan, you go to a game and you're rooting for your team to win, and people just give up on the team, you know what I mean? And they're just like, well, it's whatever. I mean, you're going to feel some type of way. It's like, yo, I'm putting my energy, my dollars, you know what I'm saying, into this.
Right, I get you.
And then it's like, the player's like, it's whatever. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like an Andrew Wiggins. Like, Andrew Wiggins, bro. And no disrespect to Andrew Wiggins, but a lot of people feel like Andrew Wiggins don't really care about basketball as much as he cares about the dollars. I mean, Andrew Wiggins had the potential to be a superstar. I believe he could have been a superstar if he was focused on the game as much.
You don't think he's not focused on the game?
I don't think he's as focused, man, because he should be at a level better than what he's at, in my opinion. He should be way better than
what he's at. You got a max deal, what level you want him to get?
I want him to be able to develop a consistent jump shot because he's got athleticism. But at the end of the day, we're transitioning to a shooting league. So if you can have all the athleticism in the world, and that's one of my issues with Zion. You can have all the athleticism in the world, but if you can't learn how to shoot, unless you're Giannis, okay. I mean, cause
Honest, I mean, he don't shoot it, but I think different stroke for different folks. So
maybe.
um, getting to Andrew Wiggins, like yo, he always been he's a person that you always gonna say, yeah, he can play, but he lazy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know.
So yeah, maybe, but he plays hard. He just a lazy basketball player.
Yeah,
But
man.
he's always been like that. When you've been the number one player
Your whole life.
your whole life,
Good point. Good point.
it's like, yo, why am I working hard? I'm still gonna be number one, so I'm gonna come out here and go 85% and still give you 30.
Right.
Like yo,
You like I did my job.
I did my job. So
Well, you know what? I think that's where competitiveness comes into play. Because there's always somebody better than you. You know what I mean? Because, like,
that's what they say.
What you say?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Well, I mean, for LeBron, for LeBron, for me, Kobe Bryant was the best during a time period. Then LeBron went over and carried the NBA. So LeBron then was the best player. Now LeBron is now the second best player because KD is now the best player in the league. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by there's always a time where you're the best player, but then there's always a come up where that time phases, and we're seeing that now with LeBron. So that's what I kind of mean by that. I believe that if Andrew Wiggins was like, oh man, he's better than me, well, people will recognize him more than me.
But it also hurt Andrew Wiggins. Cleveland traded him to Minnesota
I agree with that.
because if he would have been in Cleveland and
He would have been developed by LeBron.
he would have watched how LeBron work.
I agree with
And
that.
like yo, he went to a team by himself. Like yo, I don't know how hard I'm supposed to be working.
Yeah.
It's the NBA.
And they could have won a championship. And no disrespect to Kevin Love, but they probably could have won a champion. They could have probably won a couple championships even without Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, if you had to compare, like, and I know it's a little off topic, but to compare Kevin Love and Chris Bosh in their,
Chris Bosh was a better defender.
you know what I'm saying? Chris Bosh was a better defender, but also I felt like he was a guy who saw himself as a guy who could take a step back and still do great things. Kevin Love, I feel like he stepped back too much, and he didn't get more involved with them. I feel like, I don't know, for me, that is. Some people will say, well, Kevin Love, he's the guy who, like, took the most, you know what I mean? But
I think Kevin Love is the guy that gang suffered the most.
I agree. Yeah, okay.
Because before.
Because LeBron dominates the paint.
No, LeBron dominates the paint. So, and before Kevin Love was 25, 15 guy in Minnesota.
Very true.
He lost weight.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bigger guy in Minnesota.
That's a good point.
He lost weight to get him to do what LeBron needed him to do.
To shoot
To
threes.
shoot threes. And to be a little bit more mobile. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of took his post game away.
Which is why LeBron, that's interesting. So, like, you know how, like, there's NBA executives that talk about players, they talk about trading Ben Simmons and LeBron. Well, LeBron James were in the Sixers, he wouldn't work because Embiid dominates the paint. I mean, of course, he can shoot the three, but it hasn't been the same since last year. So if you got a guy who's dominating the paint, and then you got a guy who LeBron who always goes in the paint.
But it could work because LeBron basketball IQ would be better than Ben's. And,
Yeah, I mean that's true.
But it won't work for like Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris.
Really?
If
Okay.
LeBron was there.
Interesting.
Because Jimmy needs the ball within night.
Right. And he wants to be clutch.
Yeah.
Jimmy wants to be. You know what? And that's the one thing about it. It's like that's the difference to me between an all-star and a superstar. It's like Jimmy wants to be a 1A, but he's really a 2A. You know what I mean? He's like the second piece. He's like a Dwayne Wade to somebody's LeBron. You get what I'm saying? He's just got to be willing to take that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy's a superstar.
Really? So
Yeah.
are you saying that so I guarantee you I can name at least 5 guys better than him.
Can you name 10?
10? Probably. I mean, let's see. LeBron, all right, that's one. Joel Embiid, Giannis, Kawhi, James, Damian Lillard. Let me see. Who else is a major star? It might be 10. It might be up there, actually. But I think there's only. Well, I got to think. No, I didn't mention Steph Curry. I didn't mention Steph Curry. What was that? 7 or
7.
7? Okay, Steph Curry. Let me see. Who else? Did I mention Kawhi?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mention Kevin Durant.
Yes, you did.
I did.
That's the first 2 names you mentioned: LeBron James, Kevin Durant.
Actually, the second person was Joel Embiid. I mentioned. I didn't mention Kevin Durant. I don't think. That was 8. I have to go down the list because we're doing spot up. But I guarantee I can find.
Ain't no list.
Ain't no list.
This is easy.
This is easy. I don't think he's a superstar, man. Honestly, bro.
You don't think Jimmy Butler's a superstar?
I think he's a star. I think he's a star, no cap. He's a star. He's a really good player, and he can be clutch for a team. He can be a Ray Allen. You know what? He's like a Ray Allen to the Celtics. You know what I mean? He's like that. He's like a star who can be clutch. Because Ray Allen's clutch. Ray Allen was the one when LeBron missed the 3. Chris Bosh grabbed the rebound, threw it to him, helped saved the Heat from elimination, and they ultimately won that series. You feel me? So that's, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. So it's like, to me, he could be maybe.
You said, so a superstar is a person who can make clutch shots.
A superstar is somebody who can. He's the best player on the court. He's like he to me.
So Ray Allen wasn't the best player on the court then.
I didn't say Ray Allen was a superstar. I said he was a star. Ray Allen is not a superstar either, but he's a star. He's a Hall of Famer. See, you know what I'm saying? And look, you can be a Hall of Famer and be a star and not a superstar.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You know, so it's like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is not.
He was a superstar.
He was a superstar for a minute, but he wasn't like he was a superstar for a long period of time.
Dwight Howard was a superstar until
the Lakers.
So he got the Lakers in his back cut again.
Yeah, he was a superstar, man. And you know what? It's kind of sad because it's like people are disrespecting this game and stuff, saying how you know, he ain't this, he ain't that. But I think Dwight, if he's not a first ballot, which he's not, he's second ballot. Because they allow anyone to get in the Hall of Fame. They allow Grant Hill to get in the Hall.
Grant Hill was the truth, though.
For a minute. If Grant Hill had not messed up his ankles, first ballot Hall of Famer. But we ain't got enough years. We don't got that many years to say that he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Wow.
No disrespect. If
Grant
he had
Hill
never
was the truth.
He was the truth.
And Dookie was the truth.
Who?
And Dookie was the truth.
Bruh. You Dookie.
And he got the lead.
Look.
At Detroit, he was.
I respect Duke. No, you know. But anyway, it's like I respect Grant Hill. He's the truth. Right. I'm just saying, if he had not injured his ankles and he had played a longer amount of years, he would be in the Hall. Like, I don't think Vince Carter should be in the Hall of Fame.
Why?
Because he went, bruh. Okay. Because the guy, to me, he's only been a part of 8 All-Stars in 21 years. 8 All-Stars in 21 years. He should be in the Hall of Good. Okay, Hall of Good.
I think
that's what he should be.
What you're doing is you're looking at the years and you're looking at the All-Stars. So
I'm not just the years. I'm looking at the level of dominance. Was Vince Carter ever a top 3 best player in the league?
Yes.
No, he was not.
Yes.
When?
Early 2000s.
No, he was not.
What?
Shaq was better. Allen Iverson was better. Kobe was better. Tim Duncan was better. Come on, the list goes on. Kevin Garnett was better. Paul Pierce was better.
Paul Pierce was never better than Vince.
Paul Pierce was better. Paul Pierce was more clutch in the playoffs, and he was a better overall player. Look at Paul Pierce's All-Stars. Look at his overall production, and look at
Vince VC's. Judging by All-Stars?
I'm judging by a collective. It's not just one thing with me.
You can't say All-Stars.
I'm saying All-Stars. I'm saying first teams. I'm saying championships. I'm saying playoffs. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. VC, he's great. You know what I'm saying? He's a good player, but to me, he's not a Hall of Famer. I come up with it, man. You gotta. To me, it's like, for one, Allen Iverson, Hall of Fame, first ballot, no doubt.
He don't got no championship.
So what? He was one of the best players. He was one of the best players ever. Allen Iverson is arguably in the top 5 point guards of all time. You could put him in that list as top 5 point guards of all time.
Okay.
You can't do the same thing with Vince Carter.
He's not a point guard.
I'm saying you can't put as a shooting guard. As a shooting guard, you cannot put him down as the top 5 shooting guards of all time. If he was a small forward, you couldn't put him in the top 5 small forwards. You could put Allen Iverson as a top 5 point guard. That's what I'm saying. Okay, if you put him up against the best of the best, Vince Carter is not on that same level. You know what I
Teach his
mean?
own.
Teach his own. You know what I mean?
Teach his own. Vince Carter wasn't no scrub though.
No, bruh. Just because you don't get in the Hall of Fame don't mean you a scrub. You know what I mean? There's plenty
But
of.
Vince Carter's the first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's what?
He's the first ballot Hall of Famer.
I don't think he should be. That I wouldn't have voted. I would have voted him second or third. A person who should have been the Hall of Fame first ballot should have been Terrell Owens. That's the guy who should have been the first ballot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, but you know,
It's about numbers. It's about production. It's about being the best player in that, arguably the best player in that era. Terrell Owens was the second, arguably the first. Look, man, at the end of the day, you match his numbers up to Randy Moss. They're very similar.
They're very similar, but I think Randy has a verb.
Look, I get it. Randy, look, no, you can't go wrong with either or. For me, I'm a T.O. guy.
I think what it was is the issue is with T.O. is that
they say they killed his character.
They killed his character. I mean, he did some damage too. I think it goes both ways, but that shouldn't affect whether you give Hall of Fame or not.
Right.
But I think what it is, he was so upset that he was a first ballot.
Yeah.
And Randy was on that same card. Like he didn't want to go in with Randy and had to share the spotlight with Randy.
You think so?
Yeah. If Randy wouldn't have made it first ballot, T.O. would have been in Cannes. I think he didn't want to share the spotlight with Randy at that very moment.
I think that T.O. was just mad that he got disrespected the first and the second time. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they got guys with 45 touchdowns in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? 45 touchdowns they got in the Hall of Fame. Now, granted, he did win a few Super Bowls and stuff like that. But if we're going to do it for Super Bowls, somebody who you should put in the Hall of Fame is Cliff Branch. 67 touchdowns, 3 World Championships. Cliff Branch, Oakland Raiders wide receiver, great player for them.
What year?
In the 70s.
Past my time.
It's past my time too. But I've done some research, man. Let me tell you something. The Raiders, man, they were so unlike everyone else. They were like people viewed them as thugs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let me rewind it back. You say you got 67 touchdowns. So what? You got 67 touchdowns. What was your impact on the game?
His impact was that he was one of the first deep threats in football. Okay, and he also helped the Raiders immensely in those big playoff moments. Now, the only thing that people say against him was because he was such a long, deep threat artist. He wasn't a guy who would get as many.
Is that a track guy?
Yes, he was a track guy. He was. He ran a 9 and 100. You know what I mean? So he was definitely a track guy. He was a guy before his time. And also, people look at his 67 touchdowns and they say, well, that wasn't enough. You're talking about an era in football where it was mainly a running game. It was not a passing game in like today's era. So you can't judge and say, well, he only had 67 touchdowns and Chad Johnson had 67 touchdowns, so they can't go in. Well, Cliff Branch had 67 touchdowns in a league where they weren't passing as much.
Yeah,
in a league where he actually won titles, in a league where he played well in the playoffs and he helped his team win. You know what I mean? And Chad Johnson, he definitely should be looked at too, because I feel like
Chad's stats not good enough.
It's not. But I also believe
he got 1,000 catches and he got like 1,200 yards.
Right. Well, I mean,
67 touchdowns.
I agree. 67 touchdowns. He has less than 1,000. But if he had a better quarterback, he had the talent to become a Hall of Famer. He had the talent.
Carson Palmer wasn't no scrub though.
No. Okay, I feel like when I say I guess what I'm saying is like greatness to greatness. Carson, so just because you're not great doesn't mean you're a scrub. You know what I mean?
So, but you can't say.
So there's scrub, there's average, there's good, there's really good, and then there's great.
No. You can't cover both ends of the spectrum.
How? What you mean?
You can't say, oh, if you had a better quarterback, and I rebutted like, yo, Carson was a scrub. I'm not saying he was a scrub, but
I didn't say he was a scrub.
But like,
I never said he's good.
During that time,
he was good.
Carson was a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, but at the end of the day, he didn't do what was necessary to win games.
Didn't, though.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but if he had, a Peyton Manning, okay, he would have had better numbers and he would be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, if Carson Palmer had Randy Moss.
No, Randy Moss wouldn't be the same player.
Yes, it would.
Well, I mean, well, here's the thing though. You have to have a good quarterback. You have to have a good quarterback. If you don't have a good quarterback, no matter how great of a wide receiver you are, you're going to struggle. Your numbers are going to go down. Right. You need to have a good to great quarterback, or you're going to struggle. I mean, I'm forgetting the brother's name, but the Broncos, when Peyton Manning were there, they had two really good wide receivers, Demarius Thomas, and you know what I mean. It's like, and they also had another Emmanuel Sanders.
That
there.
Came after.
Yeah, I mean he can't. I mean, but I'm saying like, if they had. There was a time where Demarius Thomas, he was that dude. He was that dude who was, straight killing it. As soon as Peyton Manning, started dwindling down, his numbers started going off. And then when he retired...
you also got to consider Demarius got older and he started getting nicked.
Yeah. Well, you know what a really good example is? Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald never been hurt, though.
But what I'm saying is not about being hurt, about having a quarterback. Because...
No. Let me tell you why.
His numbers.
You say Larry, you got to say, you can't say the argument with Chad Johnson not having Carson Palmer is out the window because Larry had Carson Palmer and put up major numbers with the same quarterback and an older quarterback.
But the difference is that when you think about the Cardinals, you don't think about Carson Wentz throwing to Larry Fitzgerald. Who do you think of? You think of Kurt Warner, who was in the Hall of Fame.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. You do. What do you mean?
You don't.
Yes, you do, dog. Those were Larry Fitzgerald's best years. Those years is when he was actually winning. When his name was up there. When they had Anquan Bolden. When they were doing these things.
You can't pick and choose.
What?
You can't pick and choose. He definitely had Kurt Warner for 4 years.
About Carson Palmer when he was there.
But he put up solid numbers with Carson Palmer.
He did, but he would have a lot better numbers if the Cardinals were
I don't know how better your numbers can be, because Larry numbers is over 1,000 catches, over 200 yards.
That's because of how great of he is.
80 plus touchdowns.
I agree, but what I'm saying is if he had, because man, let's just be honest about it. The fact of the matter is that he hasn't had the same amount of production because of the quarterback play.
But
I mean that's just I don't know how
Larry chose that because it's been plenty of times, but Larry asked Larry could have left.
But that's not totally Larry's responsibility. How? That's the organization's responsibility to be able.
When you a star player like Larry Fitzgerald and you see your quarterback play, it ain't a departure of your game. You can either sign that contract extension or not sign it and go somewhere else with a better quarterback. Like, who did that? T.O. did that. Jeff Garcia wasn't getting it done. He went somewhere else.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is it's an organization's job to be able to find a quarterback, to be able to find something. So if you have a star wide receiver, if you have a fan base, if you have people who want to see your team win, it is your responsibility to find guys who can play football and win at the highest level.
Right.
At the end of the day. And so it's the Cardinals. So, yes, you could say, well, hey, Larry Fitzgerald could have went somewhere else. But you know what? And maybe he's like a Damian Lillard in a way, where Damian Lillard says, I'm going to stay here. I don't care if I win championships. I'm going to stay here. Maybe Larry Fitzgerald said, well, I feel comfortable here. I'm going to stay here. But it's the organization's responsibility to rebuild after Kurt Warner. That's going to be one of the Steelers' problems. And it's going to be New York's problem. The reason why they probably drafted Daniel Jones is so they can keep on playing Eli Manning until he's old and then, draft somebody else unless this Daniel Jones kid is something serious, which I don't know.
Daniel probably can play. I don't know. We gonna have time will tell.
I mean,
time will tell if Daniel can play, but
I don't know. I think when it comes to that, I just feel like New York, man, they've just had a bad year, bro.
And the year ain't started yet.
The bad year. Did you see who's that comedian that's a huge Knicks fan? He's like a LeBron James hater #1. He goes on FS1. Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, I hate Michael Rappaport.
You do? Why do you hate Michael Rappaport, bro?
Because he talks about the culture and doesn't understand the culture.
I got you.
So it's like, how can you say so? Mm-hmm. He said, yo, fuck Meek Mill. Meek Mill not a good rapper. But, bro, you were just taking pictures with Meek Mill. That don't make sense.
Oh,
to
so you
me.
saying he was clout chasing?
Yeah, like, yo, how you gonna say Meek Mill not a good rapper, but you want to take pictures with him? How you gonna say LeBron James good,
Well, you know what happened. I think what.
but if LeBron James on the Knicks, you'd be happy?
Well, you know what happened. There was something that happened with his son, with LeBron James. So it's a little bit more personal with LeBron.
LeBron can't sign every
No, I get it.
autograph.
I get
Like
it.
just because you a celebrity and
Right.
you got a son and you buy these expensive tickets and LeBron is human.
Right.
All these athletes are human.
Right.
Like, yo, they can't sign
Every.
every autograph.
I agree.
Like, yo, like if he's mad over autograph,
I guess he was mad about how his son was treated. You know what I'm saying? If your son was asking for an autograph and the athlete was like, man, get out here, little something. You're not gonna be like, oh, well, he's just an
But
athlete.
I
He makes
guarantee LeBron didn't tell his little kid to get out of here.
I'm just saying, like, if an athlete would, if you had
So
no,
if
just hear me out, right? So if you had a son, right, and this was his favorite player, and he was like, oh, dad, I love this player. He's this, he's that, he's that. You go to a game, he comes to him, he's like, yo, can I get an autograph? No, get out of my way, little dude. Go, get out of here. You ain't gonna be like, he's just human. You're gonna be like, man, that pisses me off, man.
So
You would,
in
know
the
you
context
would,
of is it?
I'm not saying that's what he did, but I'm saying
So if my son asking him for autograph during the game,
no. I'm saying after,
before the game, is it after a loss,
after a win. Let's say after a win.
after a win, then I'd be like, yeah, bro, he's human, fuck him, yeah. But
you'd be mad.
I won't be mad.
You wouldn't feel like
No, he like yo.
your
Because
son.
I don't put stock in a lot of humans.
Okay.
Like, humans is like people gonna be who they are.
Okay.
And they show you that one time that's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So if LeBron did that, like yo, that's probably who he is as a person, as a man. I can't
don't know.
be mad at.
You
how
think one experience can determine who you are as a person?
Right. Yeah.
I don't think so, man.
Why
Unless
not?
unless it's like something like a outrageous, where it's like something like totally illegal, like you kill somebody and stuff like that. That's one thing. But if you make a mistake, like you cuss at somebody and you know what I mean, because you're mad or something, or you do this, that doesn't necessarily. You just had a bad day. I don't think that just because you made a mistake or you came out of character for that one moment, that's who you are. I don't believe that.
People gonna show you is quick, fast. You just gotta pay attention. Like
Okay.
I don't like for
Okay.
me. We're different people. So
Yeah.
So I just believe like if somebody show you a flaw,
Okay.
one flaw, you have to take that into consideration because that flaw can come up at any time.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's like, yo, if you show me that, like, yo, okay, you got that in you.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't ignore that.
No, I mean, I feel like we all have flaws. I mean, we're human. You know what I mean? But I guess for me, I don't look at it as like a judge thing. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm saying like how I would view it.
Right.
Like unless it was something where somebody was like totally disrespecting me and stuff like that, I might not necessarily like that person for a good minute. But you know what? Over time, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe that dude, maybe that female, maybe whatever, had a bad day or whatever. I just need to move on. You know what I mean? So that's just me, because I feel like people make mistakes and people, and I don't feel like you should just, for me, I don't want to just judge somebody based on a mistake they made, because I know for me, if I make a mistake and I know I made a mistake, I want to apologize to that person, because I know in my nature that I was wrong. You know what I mean? So it'd be like, yo, that was wrong. My apologies won't happen again, or I'll make changes to where it doesn't happen again. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just me. You feel me? So I believe for Michael Rappaport, that's his thing with LeBron James. Meek Mill, I mean, I don't know. For me, Meek Mill, he's dope. So like,
yeah, I just don't like Michael Rappaport. It's cool.
I feel you. Well, but overall, his statement was, he was talking about how, the Giants, they missed out on Zion. They drafted a kid from Duke. They drafted the wrong kid from Duke. They should have got, And it's interesting too, because a lot of people were saying how the NBA was rigged. You know what I mean? Especially if the Knicks were to get the first pick. Mm-hmm. Well, I was listening to Speak for Yourself earlier today, and Mark Schuliff, he was talking. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but
Sheriff.
Sheriff, yeah, Sheriff. he was talking about it could have been actually rigged in reverse, and how no one else thought about it because he knows AD's leaving, so he, you know, did a little pin in it, and he said, "Hey, New Orleans gets the first pick, they get Zion," which to me, I don't like the whole ping pong system. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The NFL has the best draft. The worst team gets the best pick. That's the way it should be. You know what I mean?
What?
The whole ping ball thing, it's ridiculous
This
to
is
me.
a show.
It's a show, man. But at the end of the day, organizations' livelihood, their success, their future relies on a ping ball. It should rely based on the worst teams and trying to build those teams up. You know what I mean? If they
Yeah,
want to,
but you
you know,
got to stop tanking. Like I think with the
I agree.
NFL, NBA, the NFL, if you sorry, you sorry. Like I think with basketball, you can put like I won't say scrubs, but semi-pro players.
Like the Sixers,
Like so you can play people out there,
the process before the
and they can
process.
still compete. Like I think they want teams just to compete. Like
Okay.
in NFL, like even though you might not be getting fired, but you go compete for that next contract
Yeah.
at all costs. And then you know with NFL, it's like yo, if I don't go hard, I'm gonna get hurt.
That's a really good point.
Like with the NBA, it's like yeah, I don't go hard. I can do some Olay defense,
And also, do you think it's because of the guaranteed contracts?
possibly.
And it's crazy to think that, but it's like NFL players have to fight for their livelihood more so than NBA players because at the end of the day, an injury away, NFL team can take their money. It's crazy to me.
I won't say I can take that money, I just don't have to pay them.
Well, yeah, not take their money out the bank account, but like, because it's not guaranteed, they don't have to pay them what they agreed on.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. So that's how I say take that money. Because if I made a deal with you, and I was like, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, I was gonna take money. I'm taking money from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not fair. That's not right to you. You know what I'm saying? As an independent contractor, as a business person, that would not be right for me to say I'm gonna pay you this, and then I didn't pay you. It would be wrong. You feel me? So that's why I feel like NBA's got it right when it comes to guaranteed contracts, but they don't got it right when it comes to draft. It's almost like a weird flip. You know what I mean? And I also thought about this earlier. If the New Orleans didn't get the number one pick, they might say, well, New Orleans got screwed both in football and in basketball. So I don't know.
I don't know.
It's crazy, man. It's been a crazy week of sports news everywhere. Steven Jackson, he talked about how ball players are the best coaches. It's not the other way around. It's not just coaches. It's not just
Right.
regular guys. Because Michigan's head coach is now the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, a 66-year-old man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I seen that. I haven't really done my research on it, but I when it came across my screen, it's like, oh wow,
What?
it didn't move the needle. So I don't because it didn't move the needle. I didn't really care to research it.
You know what I mean? It's the Cleveland Cavaliers. They ain't got LeBron, so it ain't the same. But but at the end of the day, it's like, yo, there's so many African American coaches that don't have jobs or given opportunities, but guys who are 66 years old.
I think
know
everybody
what I
just
mean?
talking about Mark Jackson not getting another shot at it. I think that's the uproar of the NBA right now.
Yeah, they need to give him a shot, but he's been blackballed. And Ty Lue's kind of been blackballed a little bit.
How?
Why hasn't anybody offered him a job? Okay, because they say, well, he's just LeBron's guy. They would have won a championship with anyone. Well, how come people respect Steve Kerr? Steve Kerr took Mark Jackson's team. Now, he definitely elevated it. He elevated the Warriors. But they don't respect Ty Lue. The Lakers didn't respect him. The average contract is 5 years. They gave him 3 just to make they did it to offend Ty Lue to make him walk out so they wouldn't have to sign him.
Right. I get
You know what I'm saying? And I think they probably could have won it. Maybe they won a kid or whatever. But I do feel like it's an issue not only in the NBA but more so in the NFL where they don't hire black coaches. What do you think of that when it comes to coaching in African Americans?
NFL, NBA,
Both.
it is upsetting, but it's like how many black coaches do they are out there that want to be head coaches?
It's interesting.
So it's not like, yeah, you can like they got a running rule in the NFL. Like you can interview a black coach, but like something they might not want to be a head coach.
You don't think so? That's interesting.
Not saying like all coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably got a few black coaches that wants to be a head coach.
Interesting.
But some few black coaches like, nah, I like being a position coach
because there's less responsibility, less stress,
more time with your family.
I don't know, man. I feel like there are so many African Americans that want to be in those positions. They just might not necessarily be. You know, I read an article about this, where there was basically a guy who told a black coach, "I want you to try out to be a defensive head coach or a defensive coordinator because that way you can get a job," knowing that most coaches don't hire defensive guys to be head coaches. We not really, man. We especially in the NFL. It's
right now.
They pick up offensive guys.
It's offensive hot right now. But
you know what I mean? It's been that for years.
Nah, man. Ron Rivera's a defensive coach. Mike Tomlin was a defensive coach. The Denver coach is a defensive coach.
Okay. Gary Kubiak.
Gary Kubiak was a defensive coach. Vic Franciano was a defensive coach.
You named that's 7, right?
Gus Bradley was a defensive coach. Dan Quinn is a defensive coach.
That's 9.
Just on top of my head.
Okay, let's say right there 9. How many teams are in the NFL?
32. I could have went more.
I mean, but at the top of your head, the majority of the coaches, of the head coaches on the offensive side. Well, then that's 11 out of 32. You know what I'm saying? And how many of them are African Americans? Because most of the African American coaches are defensive guys. How many offensive coordinators do you see become head coaches that are African American? You don't see it because what they do is they push African Americans to be defensive-minded guys. And what they do is they hire less defensive-minded guys and they hire more offensive-sided guys. They got quarterbacks becoming head coaches. You know what I mean? And so it's like this cycle where it's like, yo, what's going on here? And I truly believe that I'm not saying that the Lakers are racist in any way. I don't believe that. Okay, I believe there are people because look, Magic Johnson was the president of the Lakers organization. He was a head coach for them in '94. I do believe though that they want their guy. You know what I'm saying? And their guy happens to be a Caucasian man. You know what I mean? Black. Jason Kidd will be their guy, but they didn't want him to be their guy right now. You know what I mean? They'd rather have Frank Vogel, who his last year was 26-50. And the next year, the Orlando Magic won the playoffs, and they had 45 games. I mean, come on.
More like 42.
42, 45, they're in the playoffs. Feel me?
I get you. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so
I think time is coming. Like, it's like people are stressing for the now. Like, but I think like the next big head coach right now in the NFL, obviously, is Eric Bieniemy. He's black. Okay. He's the next big officer. He runs the office out in KC, and so he's the next thing to blow. I don't want to hear.
Can't wait.
He's the next thing to blow.
You don't want to hear black coaches don't get jobs.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I think offensively that they struggle to get a job. Like, yeah, I see that.
I mean, it happens in college. I mean, it's facts by it. It's not just, you know what I mean? It's facts.
But I think the time is coming. I think we all want to like
complain
now.
So you're saying less complaining, more so.
Let's just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that mentality. I think that's the mentality to have, because, you know, sometimes when you speak negatively, those things happen. You got to think positively, and you got to believe in yourself, and not just believe that people are out to get you.
Right.
So I agree with that 100%. And so I got to catch myself too. You know what I mean? When we have these talks about it. But hey, man, it's been a great episode of Sports Trap. I'm Tim Kane. That's Derrick Call. Y'all have a beautiful day.
Bless.